Start recording. You little bitch, Scotty.
I mean, maybe if a real man insulted me, I would be worried about it.
Damn.
Shit.
Damn. All right, well, on that note, let's
Scotty
get right
with
into
the
this. We got a
riposte.
lot of stories today.
What?
So, we do.
We do?
I said we have a lot of stories today,
Why do we
old
have a lot
man.
of stories today?
Huh?
I said we got a lot of stories today.
You'll have
Oh.
to speak up.
Hold up.
You picked some
We
more.
got a lot of stories today, Gramps.
You picked some morning glories today. Those are beautiful. Sadie used to love those, God rest his soul, before she went to be with the Lord.
Yep. And now she's with the Lord.
I'm going to do old man Paul for this whole episode and see how it flies.
When have you ever
Yeah,
stopped?
when that's what to say.
Fuck the both of you. You know what? I came up with a better dig.
Let's have the Walker episode with Paul.
I came up with a better dig against myself this morning than you guys did. I wanted to see if either of you would say it. You didn't. I put this shirt on today, which our buddy Peyton got for
Cool.
me.
Yeah.
And I put it on, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror in the bathroom, and I was like, "You look like the fucking planet that fucking lander thing is landing on." Like, you look like the planet that the fucking Death Star is threatening, you big fat fucking piece of shit. So yeah, you guys didn't come up with it.
Sorry.
Damn,
didn't go there.
I would have had.
Sorry for having a shred of humanity, Paul. Like the first
Yeah.
thought I have when I see you was not that you're
I'm sorry,
fat.
dude. I come up with the fat
But
jokes
Paul,
before
Paul,
other
like,
people do.
yeah, dude, I know, but like we're immune to your fatness. I mean,
Yeah,
come
like,
on, dude. Like
you
we've
know.
already factored the gravity of Paul into the situation here.
Yeah.
The gravity of Paul.
The gravity, dude.
Dude, I watched that Interstellar that your wife is always bugging me to watch.
It's a good movie, dude.
It was pretty good. It was okay. I usually like Christopher
Dude,
Nolan. So.
evil Matt Damon, dude.
Yeah,
But that was predictable.
He wasn't even really evil. He was just a pussy, like
Yeah.
the ultimate puss bag, the ultimate coward.
I love his death too.
puss bag.
His death is so beautiful in that
yeah,
movie, too.
yeah. I loved that.
Well, goddamn. Spoilers much over here. Jesus fucking
Oh, whatever,
Christ.
dude.
Everybody dies in that movie, TJ.
Oh, okay.
And then
I guess it's not
my
a
friend,
spoiler
you
then.
die.
Anyway, America is running out of Impossible Burgers.
That's impossible.
Ah.
Wow.
So I guess it's. I never even heard of them.
Yeah, this
I
is like a lab made. It's plant based, but people say that it tastes pretty much just like beef.
Cool.
And
very
they've-
similar.
They've rolled it out.
Because I'm not too keen on killing cows. You know, like I like how they taste, but I've never been one for like. You know, I like to see that cow slaughtered.
Dude, I will
and
say
shit.
this: like,
So,
I buy these sometimes, and a lot of times, like, you can't even get them. It's like the store is completely sold out.
well,
of these.
apparently the demand is crazy.
What's so fucking good?
It said in this first opening article sentence of the article here, there's a real demand for fake meat. Interest in Impossible Foods' plant-based meat alternative is growing so much that the company is struggling to keep up, company said Tuesday. The acknowledgement comes just after the company expanded its partnership with Burger King. Earlier this week, the fast food chain shared its plans to sell the meatless patty as a Whopper at all of its U.S. locations by the end of the year. Restaurant Brands International, which owns Burger King, said a St. Louis test of the Impossible Whopper went exceedingly well.
Yeah.
That's St. Louis.
So
dude.
people are going crazy
Yeah.
for this meatless patty.
If the fake meat did well in St. Louis, Missouri,
Yeah, one of the barbecue capitals of America.
it's
dude.
probably pretty
Yeah.
good.
Dude, I mean, that's pretty exciting stuff because, like I said, I've never been keen on the idea of like slaughterhouses and killing
Well,
animals.
factory
and
farming
shit.
is what you're talking
And
about.
it's not just that, too. If you are one of the people that cares about our continued contribution to the degradation
Right.
of the
I mean,
ecosystem,
we could cut down on methane
Right.
if we stopped.
I mean, I know it sounds silly, but the fact that we amass so many fucking cows in this country and so many like small places that like there would be no way that herds of that size.
these
would
liberals
exist.
are concerned about cows farting. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it's
methane.
not just that; it's the byproducts and the waste that
Yeah.
comes from the farming. So it's like it would be good if we could move to a plant-based meat substitute that does everything that meat
It's
does.
ecologically impractical.
I was watching a video the other day about lab-grown meat
Yeah.
and how they use grass. So what they do is they take stem cells from like chicken breast or whatever the fuck, put it into like grass stem cells, and the grass provides the framework for the meat to just build itself.
Weird.
So, like in the not too near future, we won't even need animals to have meat.
Cool.
We can just grow it.
Growing our own meat.
That'll be a way better for our environment because factory farms. I mean, not
Not only that, but just ethically, like it lets
Yeah,
you know.
well, obviously the ethical implications of just having these animals and living in these horrible conditions, but just the fact that the population is expanding so much that everyone eating meat constantly, like the way they're now, is totally unsustainable. It's not going to work.
Well, I'm glad that alternatives are starting to present themselves. Technology giveth and technology taketh
You know what,
away.
TJ? I'll make you an Impossible Burger soon.
Yeah, dude,
I'm
I'm gonna taste
interested.
this shit.
I'm
I've
super
never had one.
interested.
Either.
I've had them. I'll make you one too, Ball. Oh, they're fucking really good, man.
Do they
Really.
taste? Are they like undiscernible from like meat
No,
or like?
I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, I'll say this: everyone I fed one to has liked it. Like,
Will you make,
So it's just really good.
will you make me one just like this
If that's
with
what
like a roasted serrano, and it looks like
I guess
oh,
that's
that's
what you
that's an
want.
asparagus wrapped around it. Looks like it's got some pico on it.
Yeah, that looks.
it really doesn't look too difficult
Little
to make that.
fluffy brioche bun.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Delicious.
Okay. So I thought we were talking about this the other day. I believe someone I think it was me and Paul. Maybe it was someone else. Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek, not dead yet. Director says it's a very big possibility.
Please.
Oh
Please,
man,
please.
I so desperately want to see this.
Contrary to some rumors, Tarantino's Star Trek movie is not dead yet. Quentin Tarantino made news in December 2017 when he revealed he had successfully pitched an idea for a Star Trek movie to Paramount Pictures, but since then it's been unclear when or if a Tarantino-directed space adventure will happen. Various Star Trek cast members expressed doubt about the project throughout 2018, as actors like Simon Pegg had no clue about Tarantino's script. However, the director has had a positive update for fans and calls his Trek movie a very big possibility as of May 2019.
Cool.
Speaking to Film about his new Hateful Eight miniseries on Netflix, which
Ugh.
I don't even know. It's the first I'm hearing about that as well. Tarantino was asked about his Star Trek movie. The director responded, "It's a very big possibility. I haven't been dealing with those guys for a while because I've been making my movie, but we've talked about a story and a script. The script has been written, and when I emerge, my head, like Punxsutawney Phil, post Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, will pick up talking about it again." So basically he's saying, like, I'm focused on my movie right now.
Right.
But after that, you know, it's a very big possibility I might go and do the Star Trek thing.
This type of hype, you know, happens a lot in Hollywood, and oftentimes it comes to nothing.
Right.
Because, like,
He's just trying to keep the hype
these
going.
types of conversations and engagements between studios and property owners and directors, they happen constantly. Like, a huge part of Quentin Tarantino's day is meeting with people to talk to them about scripts and to sell scripts and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So this is just one of those things, and there's a very good chance that it comes to nothing. But goddamn, do I want to see this?
Yeah,
Man.
I think that I think he's just trying to keep the hype alive for it, and I can tell you, I'm hyped for it. I want to see it. I would love to see a Quentin Tarantino interpretation of the Star Trek universe.
It'd be a fresh perspective,
And I'd be willing-
It sorely needs. It sorely needs something
because
like that.
right now what we've got is basically I know that people are so sick to death of this term, but we've got an SJW fucking Star Trek universe at this point.
Well, let me ask you this. One of the
And-
things that seems to set you Trekkies off
Yeah.
is when a thing doesn't look or feel like Star Trek. Like, you guys all like the Orville
Yes.
because it actually feels like Star Trek.
Well, I like the Orville. I
do you
can't
do
speak
you
for Scotty.
honestly think that if it goes into the hands of Quentin Tarantino, you're going to get a Star Trek feel?
I kind of suspect that he is going to try to make it feel way more like an updated version of the original TV show. I think he's going to go for that classic '60s Trek look, but modified and kind of Tarantino'd up a little bit. But, you know, he's the kind of guy that I'm willing to give him a huge latitude that I wouldn't afford to most people.
Yeah, is there any, like, property or whatever that you wouldn't want to see Tarantino take a crack at?
I
can't-
don't think he'd be particularly great at doing like a Star Wars movie, but then again, that's been so botched so many times that
I mean, at this
could
point,
he really
yeah.
fuck it up worse? You know?
I honestly can't think of like a franchise that I wouldn't like at least give him a crack at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I would watch a Tarantino Batman movie. I'd watch him do all kinds of
Oh,
shit.
dude, a Tarantino Batman
That
or
would be
in the
fucking sick as
Batman
shit.
universe movie. Like if they tapped him to do like some of this fucking Suicide Squad or Joker shit, that would have
Yeah.
been cool.
Oh man, that'd be.
It
way
would be
more
kind of,
interesting.
I mean, like, for most directors, I would kind of hate if a talented director decided to go into, like, franchise and genre film territory, you know, where, like, you know, studio films. But Tarantino, I think he could actually elevate those films.
Dude, he like.
So maybe
I mean,
he should.
If like you're saying, it's a rated R script. I mean, I think you'd actually give Star Trek some balls back that sorely fucking is missing right now.
Yeah, I mean,
It
I
really
just
is.
don't know how you do that and end up with something that the Trekkies are gonna fucking embrace.
I mean, look, a lot of episodes of Deep Space Nine in particular had some. I mean, some very not only subversive messages, but also some very like controversial things that were done in those episodes. I feel like you can still be true to the Star Trek spirit and have someone like Quentin Tarantino's vision, which is obviously going to be more
Look,
raw.
I think that
and more bloody, almost
I think
certainly.
Tarantino would understand the philosophical dimension of Star Trek better than J.J. Abrams did.
Well, most of the Star Trek movies have suffered from, even the Next Generation ones, almost everyone. Either they're slow or it's just they're really bad action movies. They're not. It doesn't have the philosophical elements of Star Trek that you enjoy. It's just like, oh no, there's a threat to the fucking Alpha Quadrant.
And you know that a fucking Tarantino script, it would have some cool action in it for sure, but it's gonna have some awesome dialogue, and he's going to do those sorts of fucking like philosophical conundrums and moral problems that have
That's
to be
why the Next
solved and
Generation
shit
was so
like
big,
that.
though, because you had Captain Picard, these great monologues, these great speeches, these characters that would come out, and it would be like, and you tackle these controversial issues that were, you know, as a modern analog society was going through at those times, like racial discrimination or abortion or whatever the fuck it was, and it's dealt with in a thoughtful manner. And every episode had to be, we're fighting somebody. Oh my God, there's an existential crisis to the entire quadrant.
Right.
So I mean, if you could encapsulate an episode like that where there is action, there is, you know, fighting and shit, and there is
But
space
even if you
battles.
look to like the balance of like Wrath of Khan, where there's a lot of action scenes and there's a lot of dialogue scenes, and there's like this like whole depth to the characters and their story arcs, and the villain actually has a story arc that makes sense, and you know,
you guys are fucking nerds, man.
yeah, we're total nerds.
Nerds.
But I think I don't know. I think Tarantino could fucking nail it, dude.
Yeah, I fucking hope he does it,
I have
man.
confidence that he could do it. I'm looking forward to seeing his next movie, but I would much rather watch him do a Star Trek movie at this point. I'm sorry. Anyway, sorry, that's just a general whatever. Mueller complained that Barr's letter did not capture context of Trump probe.
Dude, the game of like whoops, shoulda waited just continues to unfold before my eyes. So it turns out that this 4-page summary that literally everybody ran with like it was gospel was immediately disputed by the people that actually ran the investigation.
Right. I kind of wonder, like, does it really even matter at this point now that the full report has been released with the redactions?
Well, they
obviously?
outright, yes, it does, because
Yes.
it established the narrative that Trump was basically innocent.
Right. So here's what they're saying. Special counsel Robert S. Mueller III wrote a letter in late March complaining to Attorney General William P. Barr that a 4-page memo to Congress describing the principal conclusions of the investigation into President Trump did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of Mueller's work, according to a copy of the letter reviewed Tuesday by the Washington Post. The letter and a subsequent phone call between the two men reveal the degree to which the longtime colleagues and friends disagreed as they handled the legally and politically fraught task of investigating the president. Democrats in Congress are likely to scrutinize Mueller's complaints to Barr as they contemplate the prospect of opening impeachment proceedings and mull how hard to press for Mueller himself to testify publicly. By the way, that's already happened. Robert Mueller is slated to testify to Congress about the Trump-Russia report.
That's gonna be, oh my God.
Well, Barr is testifying as we speak.
Right, he's actually. Well, I don't know if I don't know if he's
Yeah.
still doing it. But
Well, he was when I
probably
left
is.
to come over here.
I saw all kinds of stuff telling me you can go watch it live. Obviously, I didn't have time to do that because I was gathering.
I watched a
articles for
little
the
bit
site.
of it.
Well, what's interesting is because
But
I
it
mean,
says that here that a deal. I'll let you guys loose in 1 second.
Okay,
It
no
just
problem.
says here that a deal has been brokered for Robert Mueller to testify to Congress about his report into Russian election interference and possible obstruction of justice by Donald Trump. An event that has immediately become the latest, most eagerly anticipated appearance of an official on Capitol Hill. So go ahead.
It's really interesting because, I mean, going into this, the Justice Department had a policy that they don't believe you can indict a sitting president. So Mueller's report was always going to be, it was always going to have to be like someone else going to have to take action. Like, we're
Right.
not going to try to indict Trump. So, I mean, like, people,
Which is the context of the report
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
actually read it.
Correct.
Which is counter to the narrative that you hear this drumbeat coming from both sides now. Of like, let's get past this. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, Kyle Kalinske is one of these guys. It's like, it's time to put this whole thing behind us. I'm like, why? If this thing is just starting. There are 10 concurrent investigations, including this one, into the president.
well, the report actually did find that Trump met the criteria for obstruction of justice, but simply they just said we can't indict Trump. He's the
Right.
president. That was the only, if Trump was anybody else, he'd be indicted. That's basically what they're saying.
So there's like a bunch of narratives flying around. There's still the narrative, which is why this whole Barr summary, this 4-page summary he released, was so damaging, because it established a narrative that's going to be hard to break. Trump's exonerated, all done. He did nothing wrong.
I mean,
No collusion, no corruption, no obstruction.
Democrats have no one but themselves to blame for that anyway, because they kept running with this collusion narrative in the first place. When collusion,
You know who has
it's not even a crime. It's not even. There's no legal definition of
conspiracy?
collusion.
Conspiracy is the word they should have
Right.
been using from the very fucking get-go.
So because they let Trump frame it as no collusion, no collusion, no collusion, the report has to say, we didn't find anything about collusion because that's not a thing to us.
Right.
He's like, no collusion. See, told you.
So
Exonerated, innocent.
the dual narrative that I seem to see is that one, which is going to be hard to reverse because most people just run with whatever comes on the news first, and then they make up their minds and they go forward. So and it's also the reactionary. It's the reactionary person that wants to have a take immediately. Like, that's all we're about now, is having a take immediately. So that seems to be the two angles that I see going. It's like people that just ran with whatever the news said, and people that just want to like be done with this already. I don't understand Kyle Kalinski's and people like him's desire to just put this away. That fucking report is filled with shit that a president shouldn't be doing. Why aren't we talking about it?
I feel like from their perspective, it's probably bad. What he did was obviously bad, but it was also the fact they don't want to die on that hill. They're like, look, we just need to move forward and attack Trump and these other things and just try to have someone elected to replace
I think
Trump.
a lot of people, myself included to an extent,
And I don't think they believe
feel like
Trump's gonna
there's
be
so
impeached.
many things you could be going after Trump for that you could nail him on way harder than you could nail him on this fucking vague ass report.
Well, it's like the Benghazi thing with like Hillary, and Obama was like, oh, it was never ending. Oh, Benghazi. It's like they pick a scandal and it's just hammering home, and it's hammered home, and it's hammered home.
Like, the dude fucking just authorized a genocide in Yemen, and we're not fucking trying to use that against him. He's probably violated the emoluments clause like a bazillion times.
It's because politicians have to get up in front of the American people and say something and talk about something. So as long as they're not talking about substantive issues, they're at least talking about something.
I mean, at least if you're gonna go after something in the report, go after the obstruction of justice shit, because
I think that's going to be the focus going forward.
and also like look into Trump's financial dealings.
that's already being done.
Right. And
That's
that
being done
that
in 10 different
investigation
fucking ways.
is way more pertinent to me than this Russian shit.
New York State is on the cusp of passing a law. I saw a story about this that would allow them to make public the state level tax returns of any politician in New York.
Good.
So Trump's New York State tax returns are on the cusp of at least. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a legal.
oh
challenge.
yeah, it'll be a legal battle to get those too. Though.
Well, a lot of states have already added laws. At least 2 states, I think, at this point, have added laws that say if you don't release your tax returns as a politician, you're not allowed on the ballot.
Right.
Which those are also, of course, being challenged. right now.
Probably found to be unconstitutional.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably so.
I don't know what in the Constitution would protect that. First Amendment?
Probably, I'm not
Fourth
sure.
Amendment?
There's probably something. I'm sure there's some legal argument. I mean, they might lose it, but I think that they'll. I mean, there's nothing that. Also in the Constitution, there's nothing that requires you to release a tax return. To
Interesting.
become president, you don't have to release your tax return.
Well, speaking of privacy, U.S. searches of phones, laptops at airports rising, suit says.
Oh, what a shock!
U.S. government searches of travelers' cell phones and laptops at airports and border crossings nearly quadrupled since 2015. And we're being done for reasons beyond customs and immigration enforcement, according to papers filed Tuesday in a federal lawsuit that claims scouring the electronic devices without a warrant is unconstitutional. It should be. The government has vigorously defended the searches, which rose from 33,295 in fiscal 2018 as a critical tool to protect America. Ooh, yeah.
Bullshit, dude.
Better protect America.
Are your papers in order?
Why don't you protect our constitutional right to not be unlawfully searched and seized?
Oh, according to many federal district courts, and maybe I'm not even sure about possibly even the U.S. Supreme Court, this is totally legal. If you go within 100 miles of a border, you can just be stopped and searched for national security, basically. Oh,
so like
look through your phone.
The entire like edge of the country is like a fucking.
If you bring your laptop overseas and you come back, they can go look through that laptop thoroughly. They can look through your phone thoroughly. They can
What
look
have
at
you
everything.
done?
They added that the agents are searching the electronic devices of not only targeted individuals, but their associates, friends, and relatives.
Wow.
Basically anybody they want. Let's be honest.
Without warrants, without any real justification.
What this story tells me is rule number 1, travel with a burner phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go anywhere near the fucking border of this country with your cell phone unless you want to give it over to the government and let them go through all your contacts and investigate everybody you know.
You know what's funny? When executives, like CEOs, go to China or these other countries overseas, like...
They ain't getting searched.
Well, they talk about how the Chinese will hack into their phones and shit. Like, literally, you have to have a security people go with them, and it's like, oh my god, I can't believe the Chinese do that. But it's like, we're literally doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We're going through people's fucking phones. Like, how are we any better?
We're not even clever about it. At least the Chinese...
Get your phone!
At least the Chinese are like, we will subtly hack into the phone. The U.S. just like, give us the phone. Let's see what's going on.
It's our approaches as countries, clearly. You know, I mean, like, we're just the fucking brute.
Oh, give me! Let me look! America really is like the big dumb caveman of the world.
Yeah, pretty much.
Third most powerful.
I've heard about stories like this for years. I'm not surprised that the numbers are rising because it's so easy. And so many people are on these devices, and there's so much information you can glean about a person from going on one of these devices, especially if you have their picture or you have their fucking thumbprint. You can look at you can look at someone's complete financial history, their fucking text history, who they contact. You can learn everything about them you never need to know.
I want to just get rid of my fucking cell phone and get an old rotary phone that plugs into the wall at home. That's what I want. Honestly, that's what I want. I don't even want a digital pad phone. I want an old rotary dial phone that plugs into the fucking wall at my house with a ringer that I can turn off perpetually.
So, I don't know, Paul. Maybe it's just worth having a phone at that point.
Paul should just have a bat phone.
The bat phone.
Yeah.
Julian Assange, WikiLeaks co-founder, jailed over bail breach. WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange has been sentenced to 50 weeks in jail for breaching his bail conditions. The 47-year-old was found guilty of breaching the Bail Act last month after his arrest at the Ecuadorian embassy. Took refuge in the London embassy in 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden over sexual assault allegations, which he has denied. You know, a more honest way to phrase that would be which were dropped.
Yeah.
Because they were dropped. So his denial, I mean, whatever. Yeah, his denial is also a fact, but I think the more pertinent fact is that those charges were dropped because they were bullshit to begin with. In a letter read to the court, Assange said he had found himself struggling with difficult circumstances. He apologized to those who consider I've disrespected them, a packed Southwark Crown court heard. I did what I thought at the time was the best or perhaps the only thing that I could have done, he said. In mitigation, Mark Summers, QC, said his client was gripped by fears of rendition to the U.S. over the years because of his work with whistleblowing website WikiLeaks. As threats rained down on him from America, they overshadowed everything, he said. I don't think his fear was unfounded.
Julian Assange is totally and utterly 100% fucked.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, look.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get railroaded.
He's gonna fucking eventually probably be extradited to the U.S. And what's the better possibility? He's gonna be fucking fucked in the U.K. because they have very strict fucking laws there too. So it's like he's basically fucked.
Yeah, he better fight that U.S. extradition with everything he's got. He better hope he just goes to
I
the
don't
UK.
think it'll be much better if he's there in the UK, but I mean, he's probably going to be extradited to the US, almost certainly.
I mean, look, we have
The relationship Trump has with the UK right now, I mean, they both have conservative governments.
Chelsea Manning in like solitary confinement right now for going on I don't know how many weeks, just because she won't divulge the details of her leak to WikiLeaks.
Well, it's contempt
Right.
of court, right?
Because they're trying to get her to testify against Assange. She won't do it, so she's been in jail for weeks and weeks and weeks, which is weird because she was
Commuted by Obama. right?
by Obama,
Well,
and now it's like, oh, well, you got to testify in this trial, or we're gonna just lock you up again, and she's been locked up ever since.
yeah. Well, I mean, and this is not the first time that we've.
It's how we treat whistleblowers against the U.S. government in this country.
It's not even the first time we've done this to Chelsea Manning.
No.
I mean, a lot of people may not remember, but back in like, what was it, 2007 and 8, when she was still Bradley Manning, she was
Yes.
in jail again for whistleblowing on the government. I mean, that was what made her a public
at the
figure.
time, Bradley Manning was sentenced to 25 years
Yes.
in fucking federal prison. for
And
the-
served a bunch of it in solitary, like not 25 years, but served like a year and a half or 2 years or something, if I
well,
remember.
that's what the sentence was, I believe, was 25 years or 20 years. It was a really
Right.
long sentence for whistleblowing and for or leaking documents.
So it's just a
classified documents.
constant harassment of this one individual, all because they revealed information about the government that the government had done something wrong and that they didn't want us to know
Oh no,
about.
Paul was leaking classified information.
Right.
Yeah, well, the information was classified because it was our soldiers like wantonly
Indiscriminately.
murdering innocent people and laughing about it.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
So maybe, and I love how that's never mentioned.
You say defending freedom? Is that what you said, TJ?
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
Defending freedom, buddy.
That's what I said. I love how that part of the story never seems to be mentioned in the press.
Oh,
for
it's
some
not a big
reason.
deal.
It's crazy.
It's not. Well, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, they leaked like Russia basically leaked shit about the DNC through
Right.
WikiLeaks, and we all know
never
that.
talk about the stuff that was actually leaked.
Look, and what you can argue, you can debate. Hey, was that right or was that wrong? Like, you can't debate what was found by them. It was pulled right from their servers. It was pulled right from their emails. Like,
This is what happens when you let the right wing frame every argument in this country, because you don't have a left wing that has the balls to stand up and provide the counter narrative. Chelsea Manning revealing that it was pretty much common practice for our soldiers to indiscriminately kill civilians and laugh about it is no longer talked about. What is talked about is the fact that she's trans, the fact that she's in jail again, the fact that she was a whistleblower. See, she was framed, that the whole argument was framed away from the substance. Same
course.
thing to go with the WikiLeaks thing that we're talking about. But it's not the right wing doing it this time. It's the left wing burying the whole fucking what came out in the DNC leaks, which was hugely damning for the Democratic Party in this country.
oh, it fucked them royally.
But now look at what we're covering. We're not covering the content of those leaks and the
covering
lack of substantive
covering
change
Julian
that's
Assange.
happened at the DNC. We're covering Julian Assange, the person, ostensibly responsible for releasing the information.
Right.
Well, the whole debate
sorry.
about this really is do people have a right to this information? And I mean, and the government is basically saying, no, you don't have a right to know the truth.
Right.
And that's fucking disturbing in itself. And like you're exactly right. Like, why aren't we talking about that? How the government is saying we'll decide what the people need to know, even though we're taking your money to do it and kill people. And but it's okay, we're doing it on your behalf to protect you.
Cool. Ilhan Omar. This is not going to be the country of white people. Now, this article, I'll just go ahead and
It's Breitbart, of
Right,
course.
this is a Breitbart article, and what she was countering here was the ethno-state kind of narrative. Like, she's talking directly against like Nazis or whatever.
Nope. She hates white people.
White ethno-state people.
No, she hates white people.
So
That's all
she's
it is.
she's not saying like we're gonna kill all the white people or something. She's saying like this is not just gonna be a white people only country.
Well, look, it's always white people hate.
But anyway,
TJ.
I didn't pull this for the article. I pulled it for the comment section.
That's what I figured. Okay.
That's right. Spew your racist filth and then blame someone else. So why is she here again? If it's so damn unbearable, hands off Ilhan, huh? Christians in Somalia are routinely terrorized, tortured, and beheaded. Last time I looked, she still has her head and big mouth. I have never heard of any Muslims getting terrorized, tortured, and beheaded in America. So just why did she abandon her great country and her great people? Go back to Somalia. teach some people how to read something. 65% illiteracy. Make Somalia great again.
Wait,
Get
so
the fuck out. Problem solved.
It's her fault that Somalia is a shitty, dysfunctional state.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, that's strange.
She should go back and single-handedly fix Somalia.
That's what she needs to do.
That's the answer to this.
Black Lives Matter and Islam now control the future of the Democrat Party. I don't think that they're quite I don't think those voting blocks are quite that big yet.
They love this conspiracy shit, dude.
Omar Talib and Shiny Object are the new face of the Democrats.
Who's Shiny Object?
I
think that's probably AOC.
Oh.
And they will show
Why
their
do they call her
worth.
that?
I don't know.
Who knows?
In the upcoming election, the Democrats are going to have to work hard and take drastic measures to dissociate these people from their image instead of turning over and saying, "May I have another, please?" Final stage extinction from political correctness just around the corner. Just around the fucking corner, dude.
Wow.
Well, you know what? This just shows you that they're a bunch of PC whiners too, because it's like, don't they want people to keep it real? And like, so even if this was a racially charged statement, don't they want the right to say whatever racially charged shit they want too?
This person
They're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They're saying these damn fucking stupid Muslims. So what a bunch of fucking hypocrites, dude. Like they're so fucking blissfully unaware they're doing exactly what they're claiming this person is doing. She's not even doing it. Fucking idiots.
If her country is so proud and dignified, why isn't she still there? And this person's like, exactly. Send her back along with all the Muslim immigrants that voted for her.
Why?
Because that's another conspiracy
Send them
theory
all.
they have. They said like, oh, well, she was only in there because there was all these Somali refugees that voted for her. It's like, well, no, because she actually won by a way huger margin than the entire Somali population of her state. But they ignore that, of course, or her district.
That
Her
doesn't matter.
district, yeah.
As a white person, I'm sick and tired of immigrants coming here and calling me a racist. Screw them. No more third world immigrants. Yeah, I don't understand why anyone would call this dude racist.
Yeah,
man.
and I mean, like, that's exactly what she's speaking out against, is dudes like this who think that white people are under direct attack in this country or something.
Yeah. And he's like, man, I can't believe she says that we want to get rid of all the people of color. Let's get rid of all the people of color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe they're saying that about me.
Oh, go back up. Go back up.
yeah.
Go ahead.
As a white so there it is. As a white nationalist, I'm sick and tired of being called anti-whatever for being against one group who's pushing mass immigration. If you're a white nationalist, you're not against just one group, buddy. You're against a lot of groups.
Yeah.
There's a lot of racial subgroups in this country that would disagree with the white nationalist platform.
I mean, look, it's one
Look
thing
at
to say
look
you're
at this.
against open
Thank God
borders.
Trump's Muslim ban held up. So grateful to him. They're still coming in through Mexico.
Citation needed.
Dun, dun.
You just can't stop them. Omar is a Muslim Brotherhood plant, just like Hussein
Yeah,
was.
citation needed.
Trump is cleaning house. Isn't diversity great? Foreigners come here, tell us we're racist, and demand we change.
America is a country of foreigners. There's no calling an American citizen a foreigner. We're a country that, like, from the get-go has been for misfits and for whoever comes from wherever. That's kind of part of what makes us America.
That's just a bunch of liberal
Another-
goddamn lies.
Another principle of America, it's our First Amendment, it's freedom of speech, is that people have the right to say how they feel and talk about things in the way they want to. And what they're arguing for is, no, let's censor these people. Why don't you just go back where you came from? So, well, you need an American citizen to say it?
So this guy has also got some Ilhan Omar opinions.
Okay.
This is John Guandolo with his latest hit single, Outlaw Islam and Charge Ilhan Omar with treason.
Okay.
How do we as a country, how do you draw the line between a peaceful Muslim and a jihadi?
You don't, because there's no such fucking thing.
How do you draw the line? Is Ilhan Omar going and blowing up buildings? Is she funding terrorist networks?
Probably.
Unless you have proof that she's doing that, then I would say it's pretty easy to distinguish between those two things. She's not a part of ISIS, is she?
How do we know the difference, number one? Number two, how do you craft any kind of a
It's just a
sane
jump to the
policy
left.
that keeps jihadis out of the country while allowing quote-unquote peaceful Muslims into the country?
at the risk of going too far, because the problem we normally have is when you talk about solutions to an audience that doesn't fully understand the problem, the solutions may sound a bit harsh, but I will tell you, we're on the precipice of losing the war. So let me say,
We're on the precipice of losing the war.
What war?
Just like we've always been for every decade before.
All these ambiguous statements. What war is going on? The war for America?
Look, Scotty, idiots like you who don't understand the problem might think the solution sounds a little harsh. But we're on the precipice
So
of
when
losing
I understand
the war,
what-
TM, so...
Okay, well, maybe he'll enlighten us as to what that is.
Hey, you don't need to be enlightened. You just need to accept his solution.
this:
I have a
Sharia
final
is the line you
solution,
draw,
TJ.
and no public display of Sharia adherence should be allowed. Do what Kemal Ataturk did in Turkey. No call to prayer out loud, no minarets. Certainly, since mosques are what Muhammad said they are, and they're the place from which they launched the jihad, they're not Muslim churches. No wearing burqas, no wearing the hijab. Do what Kemal Ataturk did. Outlaw all of that.
You know what, dude? Something tells
Oops, there's a little thing called the First Amendment that kind of makes all of that, like, super illegal.
You know what? If we want to do that, let's just go ahead and just ban all religion then.
Yeah, I was going to say, something tells me that this guy has a whole lot of other opinions about what you can and can't wear that don't have anything to do with being Muslim. Something tells me he wants to tell everybody what they should and should not be wearing and looking at and listening to and thinking. And
Yeah, we need the arbiter of reality here to tell us how to dress.
The
Paul, show more skin, Paul.
the fact that this type of talk, the talk of like openly banning somebody wearing whatever the fuck they want, is like mainstream in the right wing, is just further proof how far afield they've gone from the best interests of the people.
And when this is, of course, when they're not singing about the First Amendment, though, too.
Well, yeah, it's situational for whatever
First Amendment, First
free
Amendment.
speech for me, but not for thee.
Oh, I love the First Amendment.
Oh, it's so wonderful. Second Amendment. Oh, it's great, too.
we should ban Islam.
Except for that malicious part. I don't like that part of the second.
How do you guys feel about a bunch of Muslims
No
owning
hijabs.
guns? No, they can't own guns. You're terrorists. But they have a Second Amendment right to own them. Well, not them.
That was only meant to apply to white people.
White suburbanites can own guns.
Because Sharia, in and of itself, is a system that is seditious. And if you're in public office like Ilhan Omar, you are committing treason.
You're in a country
she's doing.
that was
She's-
built on sedition. You're in a country that codified sedition into its fucking system of government by having multiple parties have access to things. Sedition is like, you don't understand like the role that sedition played in the birth of the place that you're fucking excoriating the virtues of. We're a seditious people by nature. We're always plotting against one another. We always have ill things to think about the government that's sitting in power. How's that make Muslims any different than us?
Yeah, it's foundational to America. I mean, they even passed a Sedition Act very early on in this country. It was one of the fucking first.
The Alien and Sedition Act.
Yeah. I mean, it's so people that act like it's some new thing. Whoa, it's like, dude, we've always been a nation like that. I mean, like the fucking whiskey rebellion, dude. We're a nation founded on
The
strife
fucking
and
Civil
conflict.
War. We almost tore ourselves to fucking pieces seditiously. So let's not pretend that America doesn't have a night. And I actually like it. I think we should be inherently mistrustful of our government. I think there should be radical elements in our society that have their fucking viewpoint heard. Keeps our fucking politicians on their goddamn toes.
Treasonous. Yes, read my lips. Treason.
Oh, you're
and
so
should
brave.
be charged for
Oh,
it.
you're so brave.
Read my lips.
Read my lips. Treason. It's treason.
Treason.
Oh, whatever, dude. Go sell some more fucking bonus bucks for the fucking bullshit you're selling. You fucking full of shit, motherfucker.
It's another one of these dudes, dude. I can't, like, grandma and grandpa are eventually going to croak, and then what are these guys going to do?
By the way, what that guy does is he trains law enforcement agencies.
Oh, wonderful.
Great.
Of course he does. If you see a towel head, shoot.
So that's
Aim for the little mask in their burqa.
Another Muslim thing. Halima Aden becomes first model to wear hijab and burkini in Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Yeah. There's what's
Get
the
ready. Ooh.
Oh man.
Damn.
Just why bother, dude? I mean, why fucking bother? Come on. I mean, like,
it's absurd, man.
I mean, look, I understand. Look, if she wants to wear that in her personal life, hey, that's her fucking choice. But to act like, oh, this is hot, this is sexy, this is so inclusive, it's like, this is not a fucking swimsuit.
like the whole point of the burkini is that it's not sexy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the whole point is that like they're not allowed to wear even like a one-piece frumpy looking bathing suit. That's too revealing. So like this weird juxtaposition that we're trying to do, like leftists seem to be trying to do, where it's like we celebrate Islam, but we are fundamentally against most of the principles of it. This is the end result of it. The liberalization of a weird tradition like the hijab. And now our Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. This is it. This is what we have.
It's not. It's just not, dude. It's not.
Oh my
I'm
god!
showing more
I would
skin.
have cried myself to sleep as a kid who relied on many a Sports Illustrated fucking swimsuit issue to get my rocks off as a kid. Like, can you imagine? What is that?
Nothing to fap to, dude.
This is not a swimsuit.
It's not, dude.
Yeah, you might as well go jerk off to a garbage bag because that's what
Yeah.
this looks like.
Can't even.
Go
man.
get a fucking Glad bag, dude. Like, oh,
What?
Some other bullshit. That's-
Fucking god, man. See. Oh.
Yep. There
There's-
you go. Jerk off to that, you lucky so-and-so.
women's bodies are not meant for you just to have pleasure, TJ.
The ones in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue pretty much
Yes,
were, yeah.
they are. That's what that issue is about. It's about
Clearly.
taking the hottest broads on the planet and putting them in the skimpiest bikinis and have them laying around in tide pools and shit. This chick looks like she cut a hole in like a bunch of flags that were sewn together and put her head through it.
Yeah, well, if you're a foot fetishist, maybe there.
Oh, yeah. Hell
Ooh,
yeah,
look at those
dude.
feet.
Don't they know that people get off the feet? She needs to cover
Oh,
those up.
shit,
They
Cover
need to
up them feet.
cover
Come up
those-
with some burkini slippers.
And you could still fantasize about a blowjob.
That's
Still
true.
see them lips.
Those big old dick sucking lips still hanging right out there.
She's showing way too much skin.
Put a mask on it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's too colorful too. The colors on that
Yes.
attract attention to the hip curvature.
Yeah, I can
and the breast
see the
curvature. You
curvature
can
of her
see
hip there.
You can see the V there. It's almost insinuating that there should be a bathing suit there. That can't happen. Solid black. Too form fitting too. I can see the curve of her spine and her butt.
Yeah,
Yep.
wrong.
No.
More flowing.
Yeah, you need to get like basically like a king size bed sheet and throw that over you.
Yes.
Cut a
You
hole
should-
in it for your eyeballs.
You should look like a homicide investigation on the beach.
and then lay one of those ladies in the tide pool and see if people can jerk off to that next.
Oh, a bag. Oh.
jerk off challenge.
Cover up the feet, cover up the face. I mean, totally. And just lay that in a tide
Yeah, I mean,
pool.
like, as far as I'm concerned, if I can even tell that there's a human form there,
Too sexy.
yeah, too much, too sexualized.
I'm rock hard right now.
Here's a quote from her. I never really felt represented because I never could flip through a magazine and see a girl wearing a hijab, she said in a behind-the-scenes video. Don't be afraid to be the first.
wow.
I'm sure there are any number of magazines you can subscribe to in this country that have hijabs in them and women in hijabs in them.
Nuh-uh.
You're just talking about, so wait a minute. You would grab the, wait. You would grab the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue
Oh, where's the hijabs?
and flip through that expecting to see a hijab? And you feel like you've completed some life's work now that you've laid in a tide pool in your weird hijab?
Dude, what they need to do
All
next,
you've done is piss off a bunch of dudes who picked this magazine up to jerk off to.
Dude, I can't wait for the next one, dude. 'Cause you know what's gonna be? You know, ESPN does the bodies issue where it's like the people are naked. Obviously, they're not showing anything.
yeah.
The burqa one for that, dude. The burqa body edition. Like, look at this Muslim athlete. Look at her.
Yeah, let's get burqas on all the anatomical drawings and stuff in like biology textbooks too.
Sounds good to me.
Burqa those up.
Burk it up.
I'm tired of flipping through biology textbooks and not seeing any of the models in there wearing burqas. They're all nude with like parts of them missing, and you know what I mean? No, No, that's not how this works, man. If this organically became sexy, then this type of thing, I could see having this aspiration. But I don't buy that this woman was ever flipping through Sports Illustrated going, man, I dream of one day that some lady's laying in a pillowcase in a tide pool. No fucking way.
As new protests loom, was Venezuela opposition outplayed? Caracas, Venezuela. Wary Venezuelans braced for another day of upheaval Wednesday, as both the opposition and Nicolas Maduro's loyalists vowed to take to the streets, hoping to tip the balance in an agonizing power struggle that appeared to grow ever more desperate after a so far unsuccessful attempt to spark a military uprising. Johans Davia, 61, walking his dog through the streets in Venezuela's capital, littered with shotgun shells, tear gas canisters, and a charred motorcycle, where skirmishes between the opposition and state security broke out a day before. This is a war zone, he said. Opposition leader Juan Guaido stunned the nation Tuesday when he appeared on a video at dawn surrounded by a few dozen National Guardsmen urging troops to abandon Maduro and join those clamoring for the socialist leader's ouster. But while the call to action spurred protests around the nation, only a small group of soldiers left their commands. By the end of the day, it was clear that a quick end to the protracted standoff was still out of sight. A defiant Maduro, who had been absent throughout the tense day, emerged on state television late Tuesday night, surrounded by his closest advisors, blasting the plot as a U.S.-backed coup attempt and vowing to take action. This cannot go unpunished, he said.
The saber rattling is real right now.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, there was a congressman, I can't remember his name. I saw a story about it, but I didn't pull it because it wasn't all that interesting besides this. But since you pulled something about Venezuela, there was a congressman, some Republican congressman claiming that Russia has stashed nukes in Venezuela.
Oh shit, dude.
He's trying to turn it into a Cuban Missile Crisis.
Exactly.
Well, a lot of nations actually support this opposition guy. What's his name? Guaido?
Yeah.
Guaido.
Well, it says it right here in this paragraph. The bold and risky move by 35-year-old lawmaker Guaido, who is recognized by the U.S. and over 50 nations as Venezuela's rightful president, is likely to force Maduro to make a decision
And
on
Maduro
whether
is recognized by
to let his adversary remain a free man.
and Maduro is recognized by China and Russia as.
So this is just
legitimate
another
leader.
proxy war.
So yeah, this is
That's all it is.
basically
Another proxy coup.
Venezuela is yet another proxy war between the U.S. and Russia and China.
It's
Another
like,
coup d'etat.
It's like all these big nations go like, "Ooh, a destabilized state." They all just start salivating. Ooh, we can fucking.
Ooh,
fuck
which
with-
side should we back? Ooh. So, of course, the U.S. is supporting Guaido or whatever. And, like, of course, the will of the Venezuelan people matters not a fucking whit to anybody involved, not to the Russians, not to the Chinese, certainly not to us. You know, and so, and we're, you know, like, we played a huge role in the destabilization of this country as well.
Course we did.
With you know, we had, I think last year or the year before, we passed like 3 or 4 different embargoes against Venezuela, sanctions.
And in this hemisphere, we have such a disproportional influence. So, of course, every other nation is going to go, okay, we want to do business with the U.S., so we're going to stop doing business with them.
Right. So we have the ability to exert enormous pressure. Of course, so does China and Russia. So it's just another battleground because Russia and China and the U.S. can't enter into open conflict with one another. So we settle our disputes by going to destabilize nations and backing different horses and seeing who wins.
And look at this. This looks like a really well-paved, well-maintained street on what looks like it was a nice area of town at one point, and now it's got fucking barbed wire and burned-out motorcycle husks.
Barbed wire, burned motorcycles, shotgun shells, tear gas canisters.
We always know the real victims are always the people of these countries, like whether it be Syria or Venezuela. I mean,
we're gonna go liberate the fucking shit out of them.
It's always done in the name of freedom, dude. Oh, we're gonna set these people free. It's like
the best thing we could do for Venezuela is first of all drop all our stupid sanctions, and second of all, just like leave them a fuck alone.
Well, if we
of course, if we do that, then Russia and China will just not leave them alone.
Then there's a missile base
right
off our coast.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point. But, you know, I mean, if some pact could be reached behind the country's funding this destabilizing sort of civil war that's brewing, if we could just all agree with amongst ourselves, like, hey, let's just like leave them alone.
Or we could just get over this stupid idea of borders and countries and start treating each other like a common species, sharing a
Well, I
planet.
mean, that seems like that's
We could do that too. I mean,
30
we could,
more steps.
Yeah, we
but-
could. Well, no, it's really just one.
Right, but
You mean arbitrary
don't know.
boundaries just don't mean anything, Paul?
No, well, they do clearly. I don't think they should. I don't think that people in an entire fucking country should have to live through shit like this so that my fat ass can get citrus fruit for cheaper or whatever the fucking reason.
Yeah, whatever the
reason
are.
we're
Yeah.
bending Venezuela over. I think it's probably oil
yes.
because they've got oil reserves. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
Well,
they got-
and it's
they got
also
oil.
well,
Uh-oh.
what's also vindictive. It's
I
like,
found the reason why this poor little fucking country is war torn.
when you fuck with a major country, it's like you fuck with a person. It's like there's a lot of consequence to that. And when countries fuck with the U.S. and say the U.S. is a shit nation and they're the devil and they're evil and all this
Sure.
shit, and they establish these sort of hostile relationships with us, of course we're gonna go fuck them in the ass.
Well, I mean, why did that hostile relationship come about?
Probably
Did it just fall out of the fucking
Oh,
clear
well,
blue
definitely
sky?
not,
No,
no.
it's as a result of our fucking economic policies and our
Yeah,
exploitation of this region.
We encroached on them, and
Exactly.
obviously they pushed back, and of course pushing back.
and
is
now
the
they're
worst thing
getting
you can do.
horse fucked.
Same thing with Cuba.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, we tried to rule over Cuba. They kicked our fucking puppet government out and took power for themselves. And of course, we've never forgiven them for it, even like 50,
We've
60
tried
years
to.
later,
We did for a little while.
Yeah.
And then now we've unforgiven them again.
because we elected President Dumbass.
Right.
Anyway, Paul, I pulled this one just for you.
Sick.
San Francisco billionaire gives $30 million to study homelessness.
Great job.
What a
I
philanthropist.
mean, look.
Why don't
how-
you get Why don't you put $30 million in your pockets and walk in downtown San Francisco, where there's a homeless dude in every archway and alleyway, and start handing it out down there? You fuck.
The only thing I can say though is maybe they can. Maybe the study can actually reveal some of the causes and solutions to homelessness.
Do we really not know the causes and solutions to homelessness at this
Clearly,
point?
I clearly think we don't. I think maybe some people have an idea, but I
I've
think
got an idea.
What is your idea?
Lack of education, lack of mental health care, indigency, a criminalized drug system that encourages people to get ever and more indigent as their habits get
but you're
deeper and
But
deeper.
you're talking about so the problems you just listed are huge fundamental problems of our country. Like we haven't solved poverty. We haven't solved.
No, I understand that, but I just don't understand why we need 30 million to come to that fucking conclusion again. Oh, we need more mental health care. We need a more fucking equitable system of economics that takes into account people at the bottom.
I don't know what the study itself is studying though.
Well,
so,
let's
I
take
mean,
a look.
let's
then.
read.
A San Francisco billionaire is donating $30 million to the University of California, San Francisco, to research root causes of homelessness.
Okay,
and
then it's
potential
stupid.
solutions. Like, okay, wouldn't this 30? I'm just gonna put it out there. Wouldn't
you
this
build a-
30 million be better spent, like actually, like I don't know, doing something?
Yeah,
for
build
the
a mental
homeless?
health facility
and fund
in
it.
San Francisco proper and fund it so that homeless people can
yeah,
go there and get
Salesforce
treatment.
can definitely afford that.
Motherfuckers, man.
The $30 million contribution is the largest ever private donation to fund homelessness research, according to Salesforce. The world needs a North Star for truth on homelessness. You know what I think it is? I think it's when people don't have like houses to live in that they become homeless.
Well, it's not just that.
Downtown San Francisco, like I'm talking like the business district of San
Right.
Francisco, is one of the weirdest fucking places. I stayed there for almost a month once.
Right.
And during the day there's all these cool little like shops and sandwich joints and burrito joints and like stuff that serves all the business people that come down there.
Yeah.
At night, I'm talking as soon as the sun starts to go down, it's like the homeless people, I don't know where they go, but they all come out and it's like a whole new city is built of like tents and tarps and people in doorways and like
Well, it
dogs
says
and
here-
shopping carts and
It says here more than 4,000 people sleep on the streets every night in the city, where the median price of a two-bedroom home is
It's
1.3
well, look.
million.
Let's be honest.
A
There's
family, listen to this. A family of four earning $117,400 a year is considered low income in San Francisco.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the wealth disparity in this city. It's like you have people that literally live in fucking palatial houses or have fucking penthouse apartments, I mean, how can most people afford $1.3 million? The answer is they can't. They can't afford that. They're not going to ever be able to afford that, but they're trying to live and make it in this city. And the fact, and like, look, some of the people have pointed out that they don't allow a lot of high density housing in San Francisco, and there's laws that prevent that.
Right.
But I mean, obviously something has to fundamentally change because the West Coast is becoming unaffordable for average people, and these rich people that work for these tech companies, they're not going to have anyone to do these services for them because they're not going to be able to afford to live
Yeah, like
there.
who the fuck is gonna work at your Taco Bell and all this bullshit?
You have to solve the root cause. The reason that these homeless people come to San Francisco, and in particular the business areas of San Francisco, is because at night those places are deserted, but there's still facilities around. There's still public bathrooms. There's public parks down there and stuff that they can go to.
Yeah.
And so it's like a place where they can exist outside the eyes of society. You have to solve the root problem if you want homelessness to stop. Throwing $30 million at UC Berkeley to study the root cause, we know why people are homeless. We know it. Throw that money at solving the problem.
A teen burned alive after accusing her Islamic teacher of rape. Nusrat Jahan
It's
Rafi,
a very
19,
mad world.
died on April 10th, 4 days after a mob doused her with kerosene on the roof of her school in the town of Femi,
For having the audacity.
south of the capital,
to tell the
Dhaka.
truth.
Police have since arrested 15 people, 7 of whom they believe were directly involved in the attack. At least 2 male students were among those detained.
I'll say this. A lot of times when people say, like, you know, we have to believe people that make claims of rape, when you live in a country where you literally face this, then I have a very hard time doubting that she would make it up because she was literally killed for making this accusation.
Maybe it's suicide by rape accusation.
Well, there you go.
She claimed the man, named locally as Sarij Udwala, repeatedly touched her inappropriately and that she fled before going to the police station the same day. In a taped interrogation, Rafi gave details of the alleged assault, which were later leaked to the local media. The allegations caused a backlash against her and her family.
Why?
With male pupils from her school organizing a rally in support of the headmaster.
When he admitted he did it. So they just believe, I guess they're just on the side of sexual assault and rape. Like, nope, we should be allowed to do it. Kill that bitch.
Rafi had exams to attend at the school on April 6th, but fearing for her safety, she tried to take her brother along for protection. He was barred from entering the school building, and a short while later, Rafi was lured to the roof on the pretext that one of her friends was being beaten up there. Instead, she was confronted by a group of people wearing burqas who demanded that she drop her complaint against the headmaster. When she refused, the group held her down, poured kerosene over her, and set her alight before fleeing.
Jesus Christ. The fuck is going on in this world?
The group had apparently tried to make the incident look like suicide. Self-immolation is not an uncommon method of suicide among sex attacks victims in that part of the world. What?
Well, yeah, if this is the if coming out with like the headmaster's groping me actually inspires backlash against you and your family, then I can imagine, yeah, they probably kill themselves a lot there.
Jesus.
Yeah, you can almost guarantee this happened too.
I mean, that's sickening. Just for telling the truth, and the guy basically admits to doing it, and then the pupils, a bunch of male students are like, "No, that's good. He should be allowed to do it."
I don't think he admitted to it.
Yeah, where did he admit? He didn't admit it.
I think in videotaped interrogation, Rafi gave details of the alleged assault.
Rafi is the
Rafi.
victim.
Oh, she is Rafi. Okay, I misunderstood that then.
Stupid.
But still, I mean, just the fact that this was this type of stuff does happen, we know.
Right. So, I mean, this guy, look.
So she made an allegation and got burned alive for it.
I mean, I'm not one of these automatically believe people or whatever, but, you know, certainly you should be safe enough to make an accusation where you're not going to be burned alive by an angry mob.
Yeah, and to actually have it, be investigated. But we know in countries like this, that's commonly not done.
Well, it sounds
It's
like
swept under
there's
the
a
rug.
pretty firm system in place to prevent women from coming forward in countries like this.
Right. So So apparently, I mean, like, this is just a rapist paradise. I mean, it probably has to do with his position in the community, too. Like, if she said, like, some homeless fucking street bum raped me, no one would probably give a shit.
We've been raping all our lives, living in the Bangladeshi paradise. That burqa's looking nice down here in Bangladeshi paradise.
Damn.
Sorry.
Is
Is that racist? Did I just do a racism?
It seems accurate,
dude.
so.
Religion, I mean, you did a lot of bad shit, Paul.
Oops.
Oopsie daisy.
Whoopsie daisy.
Islamophobe, racist,
Oh, shit.
nationalistic. I mean, you checked a lot of bad boxes off, Paul.
Dismissive of rape.
Yep, that's true.
Attorney, Berkeley BOE files to exclude audio evidence in abuse suit, sues victim's mother. So check this out.
Okay, all right.
This is a crazy fucking story. Defendants in the case of Adri Pack have filed a motion asking to exclude the audio recording that surfaced last fall, providing evidence of verbal and possible physical abuse against the 6-year-old girl. In October, mother Amber Pack placed a recording device in Adri's hair after noticing bruises on her when she returned home from Berkeley Heights Elementary. Adri is a student with special needs and is nonverbal. On the recording, you could two women believed to be teacher aides. I guess you hear two women assumed to be teacher aides threatening, cursing, and yelling at Adri several times. Amber Pack filed a lawsuit in February, which describes what is heard on the recording, which is threatening to punch Adri in the face.
Wonderful.
Threatening to pull Adri's hair until she starts crying. Threatening to backhand Adri right in her teeth, and afterwards asking her, how's that for anxiety? Calling Adri and other students words such as animal, wench, and pygmy. Requesting that Adri massage the teacher and or aide's feet.
Look, when you do an investigation with accusations of wrongdoing, we're trying to get to the truth. And if this is as evidence these people committed this crime or committed these acts, why should it be excluded? There's no reason to exclude what they did.
Well, remember,
except for their defense.
Not only do they want it excluded, but they're actually suing the mother for recording them doing it.
Obviously, they're despicable people, and I'm sure there's probably some wiretapping laws or something, which is what I'm sure is the auspices for this.
Let me tell you something about. Well, I worked very, very closely with the Board of Education in Madera. And a big part of my job towards the end of my tenure there was taking care of those people, some of them at least, their tech needs and stuff.
Sure.
And, dude, it is a den of fucking vipers that couldn't give a shit less about children.
I'm not surprised.
It is all politics and money and glad handing and the good old boys club. That's why, like, as reprehensible as this is, this doesn't surprise me at all. I'm not surprised at all by this. Like, this sounds like something that the school board would do. Find a way to sue the person that has evidence against them. It's common practice. And it probably won't work. And this woman will probably just release that stuff publicly, and Streisand effect will be in but it does not surprise me.
Well, it says right there, it says, if you go up one.
Yeah, I mean, it says that, there's...
they filed the motion on the grounds of privacy, saying the recording violates state and federal wiretapping laws. So basically the same thing.
But Amber Pack's attorney, Ben Solanjo, said this right does not apply in public settings. He said, if this had been a situation where someone had planted it in a home where you could have a reasonable expectation of privacy, that's far different than having it in a public school in a public setting.
Yeah. Completely agree.
In this particular classroom, parents had signed consent forms permitting Berkeley County schools to film, photograph, and record the children. Solanjo said this eliminates any argument the defendants had for a reasonable expectation for privacy.
I mean, furthermore, there's a mountain of evidence here that they are guilty of what they're being accused of.
Yeah, I mean, there may be some legal jockeying maneuver that they pull to get this stuff thrown out of court. I mean, it happens.
It does. It definitely does.
She definitely is guilty of recording people without their knowledge, even though the fact what she recorded is obviously something that the school board should be more concerned with than the violation of this teacher's right.
Instead of they're not.
How dare you violate our right to threaten
crazy.
6-year-old nonverbal students with punching and kicking and shit.
It's crazy that how the extent they go to defend these teachers, who they have obviously, whether they agree with the method of obtaining this evidence or not, clearly have evidence that these people did something wrong.
Bad teachers are incubated in the school system. In my
it's clear.
They don't.
This lawsuit proves that.
And I'm not. I never saw anything like this. I'm not gonna make allegations towards any of the teachers I worked with of this, but I did work with some teachers that clearly were they didn't care. They didn't give a fuck. Their rooms were dirty. They never learned how to use their technology, and there was no recourse for getting rid of these teachers. They were passed around like a case of fucking herpes or something.
You get this shitty teacher now.
Right, yeah. So what would happen is the teacher would do terribly at the school, and instead of being fired, that teacher is moved to another school, ostensibly because that's gonna the fresh environment.
Oh, did we all in high school? I'm sure you guys had you had fucking teachers that are just so clearly checked out, do not give a fuck.
And that shouldn't even be a.
Total assholes, like unreasonable. You know, it's like, and you know,
But like this is fucking unforgivable.
is fucking
if you've,
beyond the
if
pale.
you've got a teacher, especially a special education teacher, that is talking to a non-verbal, non-communicative autistic child like this or whatever she's got, that's beyond the pale, dude. And the fact
it's
that
disgusting.
the fact that this board of education is more concerned with whether this teacher's rights were violated than concerned with what she's doing to those kids in that fucking classroom.
I mean, it said, like in one day, she threatened to punch the girl in the face.
In one day.
Threatened to pull her hair, threatened to backhand her in her teeth, made fun of her anxiety, called Adri and other students animals, wench, and pygmy.
Unfortunately, there's
and
a lot
requested a foot massage.
There's a lot of fucking abusers and child predators and people that abuse these positions. They happen at fucking daycares. They happen in these fucking schools, and they happen in fucking private home care. We covered stories where women fucking literally they have a home daycare and they strap toddlers to car seats and fucking drug them.
Oh yeah.
It's just fucking despicable what some people do to fucking kids in this country.
Well, dude, I had a teacher when I was a kid that tied a kid to his chair with a jump rope.
Oh my god.
I mean, and she would do it like once a week. He was a hyperactive kid and he'd go fucking crazy, and so she'd tie him to his fucking chair with a jump rope. Like that. Now, whatever, I don't remember the teacher being abusive outside of that. She was an okay teacher, but that was like this type of shit. Like it's almost like the Catholic priesthood and the way they protect pedophiles in it. I'm not alleging that there's a pedophile ring in the schools, but the way that like abusive or non-functional teachers are protected and incubated by the good old boys club, because the district would rather not take a black eye admitting they employed a person like this, so they want to squash it rather than just admit like, oh my god, that this person was obviously a sadist. We
That's
fired
like the
them.
American way, though. It's like instead of taking responsibility,
Sweep it under the rug.
and saying these teachers fucked up. This is bullshit. They're fired. They're gone. Fuck them. We're actually going to file a lawsuit against them if they try to fucking say it's wrongful termination and fight them every step of the way. Because you know what happened then? Even if the school district made a mistake, then people would actually appreciate it. They would say, you know what? Something bad happened, and they tried to right this wrong. They tried to make up for it, and they're actually thinking about the student's best interest. And they would have the moral high ground. Instead, they're just going the lowest route possible.
Mm-hmm. Teachers union makes it pretty hard to fire those teachers, too, though.
Yeah.
Almost impossible.
A woman develops not reaching pouch to save black lives during traffic stops.
I saw this.
So on
earlier.
July 6, 2016, Jackie Carter was at home in Pennsylvania celebrating her son's 30th birthday when she heard the news that a Minnesota man, 32-year-old Philando Castile, had been shot and killed by a police officer. Castile was driving with his girlfriend and her child when he was pulled over by Officer Geronimo Yanez. Yanez claimed to see Castile reaching for his gun and fired several shots. Yanez would later testify in court he had no choice and he thought he was going to die. Moments after the shooting, Castile can be heard saying he wasn't reaching for his gun. Carter, who doesn't know Castile, remembered thinking to herself, someone's got to come up with a solution. From her perspective, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this is the solution here. It hangs right there from your air conditioning vent, making sure you can't get any air conditioning from that vent.
Yeah.
And it contains your driver's license, your insurance card, and your registration. And it says, not reaching. Officer, I'm not reaching. www.noreaching.com.
Wow.
So it's come to the point where black people in particular, are so worried about making even the slightest little gesture around a fucking cop at a traffic stop that they feel that it's now necessary to have this in their vehicle.
To have the no reaching
Yeah,
thing.
I even heard, I even saw in some of the comments, because I first found this on Reddit. I remember people on Reddit were like, there was like moms and shit on there, like, my son is white and looks Nordic as fuck, but I still am getting this because I'm worried about it. So, I mean,
well, the cops have used that, and so many different police departments have used that as a justification to murder people.
Right.
It's just we don't know what they were reaching for. We had to make a split-second decision. We had no choice. We thought it was a gun.
Yeah,
It was
I
an
asked him for
object.
his license and registration, and then he reached for his glove compartment where surely there was probably some kind of gun, So It's not like he's reaching for the stuff you just asked for. No, he must be reaching for that gun so he can get in a fucking gun battle with the police.
Well, I mean, like, look, there's two sides to it. And there's obviously people who are dangerous and attack police officers and do reach for weapons and don't cooperate and don't, look, that definitely happens. So you have everyone kind of just thrown into this giant fucking box of, like, when a cop encounters them at a traffic stop or whatever it is, these cops are on high alert, and no matter what, especially in this country, they're gonna move to force first. And we've seen it so many times. Watch any police show, read any fucking news articles, and you consistently see the cops in America are like, shoot first, ask questions later. I'm like, my safety is paramount. I'm coming home, even if you don't have a weapon or whatever. I'm not taking a fucking chance.
Yeah, and that's one of the fucking things where when I think about automation of, like, when I watch these robots, part of me is, like, terrified of, like, when we have actual RoboCop running around. But on the other hand, RoboCop probably wouldn't do no shit like this.
Freeze.
Well, we ain't gonna get RoboCop though.
I'm saying
we're gonna get Ed 209.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I don't think that robot would do it either, because it's like they're not.
Paul Parkett, you have 10 seconds to comply, or I threw it down. 5 seconds to comply.
That robot that has 2 giant machine guns, and the first time you're introduced to it, blows an ad executive out of the fucking.
Well, I'm not
talking.
I don't think that they were gonna have that. No,
that's really closer to what we're gonna get for the first round. Because
I think so.
Oh yeah, like honestly, I think that RoboCop is prescient, not really for its actual central character, but for all the characters that surround it, all the weird little robo designs.
Yeah.
There was one that looked like a dog at one point that didn't work. All of that shit. We're going to get that type of shit. It's not going to be like a dude with a cyber brain or whatever the fuck.
Well, I'm not taking it quite that literally. I'm just imagining one of these Boston Dynamic type robots, pulling you over.
Yeah.
And, I don't think that they'd have that same sort of,
Like a
like
chappy.
I must preserve myself. They're not, like, worrying about going back to their robot
I
wife
detect the
and
odor of
robot
marijuana
kid.
from your vehicle. Step out now. No, you will be tased.
You're probably not going to be able to sweet talk them out of a ticket either, though. So
No.
there's
You have made a traffic infraction.
My
Here's
sensors
your
are
ticket.
calibrated. You were doing 12.2 miles over the speed limit.
Oh, it's gonna suck, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to suck, but at least, like, they won't need to be armed, right? Because, like, the traffic cop ones and the ones that are just pulling people over by the side of the road, like, I guess they'll be armed, but, like, I don't know.
Fuck yeah, dude. Machine gun turrets, Paul.
Oh, my fucking God.
Paul, you were 3.5 miles
I
over
would
the
be
speed
fine with
limit.
it if they just weren't armed. If they were more like just like little clerical robots or
we
whatever.
have sentenced you to
Negative.
death.
And if you fuck with one or run from one, then obviously the real cops with the guns are coming after you.
2 clients of spa that offered vampire facials diagnosed with HIV. You guys know about these vampire facials?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Oh my! This is
They like suck your blood out of your face and then put it back in, I guess, or your plasma or
they
something.
put it on
have
your
AIDS.
face.
Of course
yeah,
they
no,
have.
that's what they do.
Right here.
Albuquerque too.
Yeah, and apparently some of the equipment was not sterilized properly, and 2 people got HIV.
Great.
According to the New Mexico Department of Health, both clients received injection-related procedures at the now shuttered VIP spa in Albuquerque between May and September
shuttered?
of last year. Tests found that the clients recently were infected with the same strain of the virus, increasing the likelihood that the 2 HIV infections may have resulted from a procedure at the VIP spa, the news release said. The spa, which shut down in September after a health inspection, offered vampire facials procedures in which plasma is extracted from the client's own blood, then injected into the patron's face.
Unless you're in a medical setting, you don't want to go to a fucking spa and have them take blood. and put it on
Yeah,
your
a
fucking
person working at a
face.
spa probably is not the most qualified
That
to
is fucking ridiculous that anybody.
extract and inject
I guess
blood.
it's showing Kim
Here's Kim Kardashian doing it.
Well, she probably got it from more reputable ones, seeing as she's a rich fuck.
Tonight on Courtney and Kim Take Miami, vampire facial. Woo!
Well, this is I don't know, man. This is kind of like Darwin Award material for me.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you go into some strip mall fucking beauty parlor and have them injecting shit into your face, you're a retard that probably deserves to have AIDS.
Yeah.
Unfortunately now, well, I guess fortunately for most people with AIDS, but unfortunately for these 2, AIDS is, pretty well livable now.
Pretty livable at this
It's not
point.
not gonna kill them.
Sarah Silverman says comedy is not evergreen. I have done things in comedy I wouldn't do today.
Oh man, here
What,
comes
like be funny?
yeah. I mean, honestly, like Sarah Silverman, back when she first came out, and she was kind of edgy and shit. She was, I liked her. I actually liked some of the things that she would do.
She started with the Edge, and now the Edge has been blunted.
And now she's on the apology tour for what she used to be, as if that person just never existed, or she wishes she never existed.
Pointing to her own 2005 concert film Jesus is Magic as a prime example of something that likely wouldn't fly today, she said, "Comedy is absolutely not evergreen. I don't stand by lots of comedy I did in the beginning. I mean, boy, I haven't seen Jesus is Magic in a decade or more. I would call it very problematic. But I can only accept myself and know that I grow and change. I have done things in comedy I wouldn't do today." You know what I find funny?
What?
So she gets to do this virtue signaling bullshit, right? But I'm assuming that Jesus' Magic is still available for sale, and I doubt she's turning down checks from it.
Oh, hell no, she isn't.
So that means that she gets to talk. She's almost figured out a way to be on both sides of the fucking Streisand effect.
No, she hasn't almost figured out a way. She's figured out a way.
Yeah. So she gets to shit talk her old shit, which gets people curious about it. So then they go check it out, and she makes the money.
Yep.
She gets to make money doing her new woke comedy, and she gets to make money from her controversial shit earlier that she now badmouths.
I mean, all of these,
Awesome.
We live in a time, and this has always probably been the truth, but like I notice it now more than ever. It's just there are people out there that will tell people anything that they want to hear. Anything. There are charlatans out there that are just looking. So like if you want to make money off of woke culture or whatever the fuck they call it, then you do what Sarah Silverman is doing as a comedian. You repudiate all your old work. You talk about how you've grown as a person since then. Apparently, you were just like a nematode of a person at that point, and you've now bloomed or whatever the fuck.
troglodyte. I knew nothing, but now I know the truth.
You know what I mean? That's what you've got to do. But she's willing to do that because she wants to keep cashing those fucking woke checks.
Right. Silverman offered up another example of the kind of humor she now regrets, thinking back to the early years when she would use the word gay as a pejorative term. "We can be passionate and grow and change and still do hard comedy," she said. "I used to say gay. I'm from Boston, so, that's so gay, and I would defend it that way. I have gay friends. I just mean it's lame. It's gay. I'm from Boston." One time I was defending it, and I just heard myself, and I was like, "Oh, I'm the guy who's like, what? I said colored.
No, you don't.
My God, I'm that person."
No, you're not. That's the person that says colored. They have to make that. It's a totally different context. It's a totally different word. Oh my God, I hate this stupid fucking bullshit, man. Ugh.
Yep. CNN drops 26% in prime time as Fox News dominates April cable ratings.
I guess this is just more proof that nobody but old people are watching TV anymore.
CNN's prime time hosts can only hope it will be better in the new building. As CNN prepares to move its primetime studios and operations to a glitzy new building at New York City's brand new and widely reviled Hudson Yards development, the network saw its primetime lineup drop 26% in April compared to the same month 1 year ago.
Not only they're not capturing the young audience, another huge problem with this is that they're just fucking... Look, CNN just covers the same shit over and over again. It just feels like it's like ad nauseum with this fucking news organization.
They've filled their roster with a bunch of just like bobbleheads. Just like a bunch of dude, like Don Lemon.
Oh, not only that, all the fucking other people they bring on these shows are just a bunch of fucking mouthpieces for like, I'm a Hillary campaign mouthpiece that now has a job here
Who's
as a
that
correspondent.
big, goofy-looking dude that looks like Sloth from the Goonies in a tie and suit? Kind of fat, pudgy.
I don't even
Brian
know.
Setzer.
I don't even know who that is.
No, Brian.
Oh,
Whatever
fuck's
his
his
fucking name is. Anyway, whatever.
Fatty McFatterson, dude.
I don't even know who you guys are talking about.
I'm just exhausted talking about CNN's roster of
listen to
stupid
this.
bobbleheaded idiots.
Listen to this. Among viewers 25 to 54, the demographic most coveted by national advertisers, the falloff for CNN was even more stark, down 41%.
Yeah, because they're just watching shit online, dude. They're going on YouTube. They're going on other fucking sources.
Now,
They're not going to CNN to sit in front of a TV.
Well, I will tell you that I do see a lot of CNN videos on ever since YouTube changed its algorithms to favor mainstream news sources, I have seen a lot of CNN stuff with pretty decent views.
Yeah, they're talking about people watching on television.
Right.
I mean, look, here's the trend. All three networks saw year-over-year declines in April, with MSNBC down 36% and even Fox News Corporation down 19%.
Right. So less and less
So,
people are watching these.
This
news
is actually a
sources in
good
general.
thing. This is a sign of the death of the old media. We
Right.
need to replace it with something better than the new media, but at least this old fucking crusty, celebrity-obsessed, toe the party line, bunch of fucking stuffed suit media is over.
Yeah, at least CNN is over.
Well, all of them.
Yes.
Like the trend is down on all of them.
Good.
Their fucking audience is croaking every fucking day.
I have a feeling that that some of the, at least, I don't know, I feel like they're going to figure out a way to stay alive somehow. They got a lot of corporate money they can suck.
Well, they're going to
They'll
have to do
adapt.
things differently
Yeah,
then.
they're gonna have to adapt to the new marketplace.
Avengers Endgame, I just wanted to fucking look at this crazy box office shit.
$1.5 billion already.
Yeah,
First week.
hasn't even been out. I think tomorrow will. Nope. Yeah, tomorrow will mean it's been out for a week in the U.S. and I think it's been out for about a week in China
and
now.
almost $400 million. That's just insane.
So 400, yeah, pretty much 400 million in America, another 1 billion overseas. Huge worldwide haul. Already the 10th top grossing movie of all time.
It's not even a week old yet, so
yeah,
it's going to climb that.
I mean, Avatar,
So the real
Avatar, we
question-
coming for you.
The real question at this point is, can it usurp the #1 spot? Will it overtake
a minute.
James Cameron?
Why
finally?
is Star Wars: The Force Awakens number 3, but it has? Oh, I guess they're taking into account the total. Okay,
yes,
Right.
total.
This
So
is,
it would need to basically double up to beat Avatar,
yeah.
which I think it's probably
I mean,
easily going to do.
Well, looking at this list, I mean, I would say the lowest I would expect it to go is number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if it doesn't take the top spot, honestly. I mean, with that, like, if it had been out for like a month or two and it was there, I'd say, yeah, it's probably going to climb 2 or 3 more spots. But the fact that it hasn't even been out a full calendar week yet and it's already the 10th,
It's probably going to be number 5 by the end of this day.
yeah. Oh, my God.
wouldn't be surprised.
That's fucking insane. Yeah, I got to go see it now. Now that the Sweaties have marched out of most of the theaters, I think I'm going to go see it this weekend.
I don't know, dude. I saw yesterday, and the fucking Sweaties were still out in force.
See, that's what
dude.
I'm saying. This weekend.
Oh, this weekend. Well,
I'm hoping that this
I don't
weekend-
know.
I don't know. The weekend's probably not
You-
the best.
If you don't want the Sweaties, dude, you might have to wait 2 or 3 weeks for this movie. No bullshit.
Oh, man. I'm just trying to... I can deal with a sweaty or two.
Oh no, it was my
Paul, just you know what the problem is, Paul?
What?
You need to just realize that you are the sweaty.
You are a sweaty.
No, I'm
And you
not.
need- yes, you
You
are.
are
Well, that's the
sweaty.
thing. That is the thing.
Yeah.
I admit I am a sweaty.
Yes.
But
Go join the other fucking sweaties
No.
and watch the goddamn movie.
I don't want to be... I don't wanna
one
be in the
of
room with
us.
them.
One of us. Gooble gobble, gooble gobble. We will make you one of us.
Let me ask you this, Scotty.
Yes.
When you went yesterday,
Yes.
you said? So when you went yesterday, were there a bunch of people in the audience like exclaiming and stuff?
No.
Gasping?
No.
Okay. All right. If that... See, that's what I'm talking about when I say the sweaties.
Okay, you mean the
That-
over the
like
top
the ultra sweaties, the dudes that live
The
and
TJs,
breathe the
basically.
MCU and are there
Oh,
to
dude.
like see their favorite. And then when Iron Man comes out, there's 8 dudes in the audience that are like, just because he flew onto the screen. Like
No,
if that
there
didn't
wasn't
happen,
that.
okay, all right, then I'll go see it this fucking weekend.
And dude, I saw people, Paul, that would make you guys look skinny.
Good,
Damn.
So you guys would feel good going like, "Damn, I'm fucking looking svelte today."
sweet.
God, I gotta go see it again.
I know, dude. It was pretty good.
Did you like it too?
Yeah, I did.
Would you say you liked it better than Infinity War, or would you say equal, or maybe a little less?
Man, I have to ruminate on that one more.
Okay.
I probably because I
That's
usually,
fair. It is a movie that you kind of have to
With
like
these kind of movies,
turn over in your brain.
I like
a
to see
little
them
bit.
2 or 3 times before I compare them.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Come see it again with me.
Yep.
Maybe we'll all go see it together. Who knows? All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in for another edition of Flash Fried. I feel like we got a pretty good one today. So we'll see you guys again on
Hey.
Friday. And that's it's gonna be pretty cool. So
It's gonna be good.
Tune in. Tune in.
See
You
ya
stupid
Friday.
fucks.
It's gonna be a Friday.